actions to ensure the plan for rolling out e-signature in the country is successfully concluded. Next is the draft of the National Digital Strategy, which has undergone stakeholder consultations for the institutions that are implementing activities listed in the Implementation Action Plan. Thereafter, it will be submitted to the National Planning Commission for appraisal before its submission to Cabinet for approval and implementation. Namibia, as a member state of the International Telecommunication Union, ITU, benefits from the reform of the legislative and policy framework. ITU is currently assisting Namibia with the consolidation of the national ICT policy, which has been validated by stakeholders and is at an assessment level by the National Planning Commission. Additionally, ITU is assisting Namibia in transposing the SADC Model National Emergency Telecommunications Plan following its adoption by the SADC ministers responsible for ICT. The plan aims to set out a strategy to enable and ensure the availability of communications during all phases of disaster management by promoting coordination across all sectors, and the stakeholders validation workshop was held in consultation with the Office of the Prime Minister on the 30th of October 2024. The 8th National ICT Summit was successfully hosted and brought together various stakeholders between the 9th to the 11th of September 2024, and the theme was Building Resilience to Adapt or Die in the Era of Digital Transformation and Artificial Intelligence. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, in September 2024, the Ministry of ICT officially announced the reduced roaming charges between the Republic of Namibia and the Republic of Botswana. The new roaming tariffs are expected to boost cross-border communication and strengthen ties between our two countries and was effective since August 2024. Our regulator, CRAN, and the Botswana Communications Regulatory Authority, BOCRA, directed the two countries' mobile network operators, namely Telecom Namibia, MTC, and the Botswana Telecommunications Corporation, Mascom Wireless Botswana, and Orange Botswana, to reduce their roaming prices. This collaboration is a testament to our effort to deliver affordable communication services to all Namibians, which will ultimately have a positive snowball effect on other sectors such as trade, tourism, and general cross-border connectivity. We also expect to sign the same agreement between the Republic of Namibia and the Republic of Zambia, between the Republic of Namibia and that of Angola, as well as the Republic of Zimbabwe. To enhance improved communication and align government communication officers to implementing government communication strategy, the Ministry hosted the Government Communications Officers Capacity Building Engagement in Opuo in June 2024 in the Kunene region. This session focused on improving service delivery in the public sector through communications. We further conducted government information sharing sessions with the community of Opuo, aiming at bringing government services closer. The Ministry also submitted the draft Access to Information Regulations to the National Assembly, which have been since tabled and discussed and passed in the first quarter of the previous financial year. These regulations were approved and submitted to the Ministry of Justice for gazetting before the Access to Information legislation implementation commences. I am happy to announce that these regulations have been gazetted successfully, and currently our ministry is in consultation with the National Assembly and the Ministry of Justice to facilitate the recruitment process for the Information Commissioner and the Deputy Information Commissioner. We have also received support from UNESCO in hosting the Community Media Policy Framework Validation Workshop in 2024, and once approved, this framework will act as a tool for the operation of community media houses in Namibia. In October 2024, the Ministry held the second edition of the Public Entities Communication Officers Awards in Lutrecht in the Karas region. These awards recognize exceptional officials and communication champions across offices, ministries, agencies, regional councils, local authorities, and public enterprises who have demonstrated innovative approaches to enhance government functioning and service delivery. To enhance our unity in diversity and the values for social cohesion, The progression of the National Symbols campaign was launched in the Khomas region. Following the activation, the Ministry embarked on awareness creation activities to educate citizens on the importance of national symbols, their meanings and their correct usage, and this includes observance of correct protocols during the singing or playing of the national anthem or hoisting of the national flag. By doing so, we aim to enhance national identity, patriotism, and pride amongst Namibians. The Ministry produces the Namibia Review Government Monthly magazine, which features articles on the development and policy in the country. It is free of charge through our regional offices, ensuring inclusive access to vital government information. The Namibia Review aligns with the Access to Information Law and the 2022 to 2027 Government Communication Strategy, empowering communities with information they will need to make informed decisions. The last theme, Honourable Speaker, is around information dissemination through the Government Information Centre and the 14 MICT regional offices. We have the Government Information Centre, which transitioned from the COVID-19 Communication Centre, if we recall, during COVID, where we had countless sessions and where the various ministries and agencies would come to appraise the nation about the programs in their ministries. Through these efforts, the ministry has reached an audience of 197,000 plus people in 3 months via multiple media digital information. The ministry also remains a preferred information partner. Our live streaming and sound services are becoming popular with government offices, ministries and agencies, and even the private sector. Lastly, Honourable Speaker, the creative sector is a significant contributor to economic growth and employment. Therefore, all efforts must be made to guard against piracy, and this leads to revenue losses and results in job cuts, reduced salaries, and fewer opportunities for career growth within the industry. The Namibia Film Commission, which resides under the Ministry of ICT, together with MultiChoice Namibia, BIPA, NBC, and One Africa Television, launched the Partners Against Piracy in efforts to protect the rights of content creators and providers. I would also like to add here, Honourable Speaker, that in order to ensure that content creators get the necessary funding they need, we have engaged with Bank of Namibia and the Namibia Investment Promotion Development Board, where we have come together to engage Google AdSense, which pays money on YouTube, as well as PayPal and as well as Apple Pay, to ensure that Namibian creators who are putting out Namibian content can actually get paid and no need to go through other countries to get the revenue that they surely deserve in terms of the content they put out. Namibian films continue to do well beyond its borders, and the NFC-funded film Momea won Best Costume Design, Makeup and Cinematography at Botswana's recently ended Bantu Film Festival. The Film Week drew over 200 participants for panel discussions, master classes and film screenings, and this event will be elevated to the first Windhoek International Film Festival in this year, 2025. Honourable Speaker, this concludes my ministerial statement. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Honourable Dienda.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. I just have 2 questions to the Honourable Minister. First of all, thank you very much for the update. I appreciate it. My first question is, students who want to specialize in cybercrime, will your ministry give them bursaries or loans? Yes, Honourable, Right Honourable Prime Minister, you know why I am asking this question. Secondly, will your minister be able to give internship to ICT students? Because they are struggling to get internship in this country. Even while we have budget from them, in the last budget we budget for internship, but our kids cannot get internship. So is your ministry able to give our kids who studied ITC internship? I thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you very much. Before the Minister could respond to that specific question, I just really wanted to underline the importance of the issue related to digital issues, IT, cyber security issues. These are things that are so important, even for our own staff of the members of the National Assembly. These are things that we need to have refresh workshops annually, almost periodically, because these are things that we need to update our skills and competence. I remember when I came back to Parliament, we were introduced to the question of how to manage the development budget that we normally carry out in our various regions. At that time, there was a very high spirit that those years. People were really excited that you have a copy, a mobile, memory stick that you actually keep with you, and you can access the information on your own computer system whenever you feel like. I really want us to revive that kind of spirit. And this is how we got into this in a big way. And your statement should be used as a basis for launching the whole issue of dealing with IT as something that is not strange, but something will become much more normal, something that we have to take on board. My grandchildren are so mobile with IT, much more than myself, but I don't want to be left behind. We say no one should be left out of the Namibia house. The IT house should also accommodate each and everybody, regardless of your age. Honorable Minister, would you respond to those specific questions? Oh, there's one more question. Sorry, sir. Honorable Fries, I didn't see your name on the system.
Honorable Speaker, I just wanted to raise an issue that I got inundated from the communities of the South, that they do not receive radio, especially the Oceanero radio station in Ocean Cares, and the Damaranama radio service around Kainagas, nearby Bersaba. So I thank the Minister for the welcome gesture that they are busy with the upgrading and expansion of the network reception, but I wish to draw the attention of the Minister to these two instances where communities are not having the basic mode of communication in the South, especially in Ocean Care, where they do not receive the Oceanero service, and nearby Bersaba in Kainagas, that they also do not receive the KSMS radio service. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Well done. Members of Parliament, you are the eye and ears for our various communities up and down the country. So it's very important that you pick up something, you share with the line minister so that improvement can be made. Any further contribution? In the absence of that, Honorable Minister, please.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker, for your statement and the Honorable Members' questions and inputs. I think, Honorable Speaker, Parliament has improved, truly. Where we were in 2020 and where we are now, where we can receive the order paper via telegram and we can put all our documents on Google Drive and access it everywhere, I think it has improved. And Honorable Speaker, you don't have to work with the memory stick anymore. You just put it on the Google Drive and you log in wherever you find yourself and you get your documents as you'd like. We will teach, we will assist. We'll get there. Yeah. Even if you're old school, you'll get there. All right. The first question, Honorable Dinda, around the scholarships. Well, our ministry does not offer scholarships around cyber security courses. We work very closely with NAS and the cybersecurity course offering. We depend on already existing government interventions because we are one vehicle, we are one government. We try to work together. through the existing scholarship avenues through either the different public enterprises or through NASFA as the government entity that gives either loans, grants, or scholarships for training purposes. What we have done is to get in touch with the Ministry of Higher Education to implore to put on the NASFA list of priority courses that issues of cybersecurity, AI, a blockchain must become a priority for funding purposes. So which means if a student finds a specialized course, even if it's outside the country, not offered at any of our universities, NASFA must see it as a priority skill, and that child or student must be able to get the necessary funding to go study that, to bring that expertise back home. So we have already asked for that to be a priority on the priority list of NASFA. But in terms of scholarships, our ministry unfortunately does not get money from Treasury to be able to give scholarships. When it comes to internships, we are aligned to the National Internship Program that you rightfully said got the funding in this financial year, and we have been giving internships to various students in this financial year. I can't give you the exact number now if I've not consulted my colleagues to know the exact number, but if I recall, it should be more than 10 internships we've given up until now. We mostly give to media officers, to sound system technicians, to information officers. And that's, we believe, is the need that will assist us in the ministry currently, and we continue to give internships. And I must emphasize that this are paid internships. There's an element to give internships that are not paid, but it was taken a decision that at least the interns must get an amount that they're able to come to work to ensure they carry out the internship. And many of them do it to conclude their studies, work integrated learning. They will work integrated learning in order for them to finish their qualifications at the various institutions. Thank you, Honorable, for the information of the lack of services around, especially radio, in the areas you have mentioned, Ausenke and Kainakas in the Berseba area. We have been trying to ensure that NBC expands, and this is why there's a commitment of 100 million to expand. We now have the Impalila Tower, which is complete. We are now going to put up another tower between Pungu, near the Pungu area, because there's also a lack of services. So we are gradually looking at the various areas to ensure that that happens. But more importantly, we are ensuring that the various mobile network operators, when they put up a network tower, that there's also provision for terrestrial connectivity in terms of radio signal and television signal. This is done so that NBC doesn't go independently put up its own tower. It just borrows space on an existing tower, which will reduce the cost as much as possible. They all need to pay rent to either MTC or Telecom. So that rollout has actually assisted us to cover more spaces. But truly there is really still a challenge of all the radio services in all the languages to be available wherever you are in the country. And not only that this region is majority this language speaking, therefore these radio stations are prioritized, but we want all languages to be available. And with those multiple interventions, we hope we can reach 100% coverage. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much. Let's move on. We are now moving into question time, and I just want to remind all of us in terms of our new rules that will govern our debates, questions, etc. Please be mindful that when the time comes for answering questions, it is within 5 minutes. The 5 minutes will be shown so that we guide you within the 5 minutes. That's the time when you have to respond to those questions. This is in line with our rules, rule number 85. So I'm now going to start the process. Question number 60, the Honorable Kawandeng is not in the house to put the question, unless if the question can be put on his behalf. Honorable Dr. Winyangwe, you put the question.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I put the question on his behalf because
Thank
we
you.
put these questions for the community to
Absolutely.
hear. So the
Thank you very
President
much.
says in the House. Thank you.
The question is put, and Right Honorable Prime Minister, this question is directed to you.
Members of the House, the Honorable Kawandenge posed the question concerning the situation in Omaheke, where a number of children were reported to have lost their life due to malnutrition. And I would like to respond as follows. Government is deeply concerned about the reports of our citizens losing their lives due to malnutrition. Any life lost is a tragedy indeed, and we extend our heartfelt condolences as a government to the affected families. The government is committed to addressing malnutrition and its causes through a myriad of interventions. And I now wish to respond to the specific questions as were put by the member as follows. Question number 1, is it factual perhaps to state that this situation must be put squarely on the shoulders of the Swapo-led government's failure to ensure basic human rights and to protect the most vulnerable in society? Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I would say no for the following reasons. Malnutrition is, as we know, a result of various interconnected factors, some of which are environmental related, such as climate change and drought, and also poverty. Addressing malnutrition requires tackling these underlying issues through multi-sectoral approaches. In this regard, government has indeed been implementing measures to ensure social protection for those with vulnerabilities, such as the elderly, those with disabilities, orphans, and other vulnerable children, and the low income. Further, government promotes food production to ensure national and household food security, access to education and training, as well as support to businesses, especially micro and small and medium enterprises, in order to promote employment and economic investigation in Omaheke region following reported cases of malnutrition. The investigation recommended extension of some ongoing interventions, which included provision of medical care for those suffering from malnutrition, support to feeding programs, soup kitchens, and establishment of food production centers within the affected communities. In addition, the ministry responsible for health undertook a standardized monitoring and assessment of relief and transition survey from August 26 to 30th September of last year. The aim was to generate data on nutrition status of children and women, while also determining the current mortality situation in the country. Fairly child development centers across the country in order to prevent and curb malnutrition. Relentless efforts are also underway to provide nutritional support and adequate health care services to the most vulnerable, especially lactating mothers and children across our country. It is therefore not true that government is neglecting the protection of human rights. The second question is it perhaps not high time that your government revisit its opposition to the Universal Basic Income Grant proposal in helping to fight poverty in the country as a whole? And the answer, the government has never been opposed to the implementation of the Basic Income Grant. In fact, the government started to implement a conditional basic income grant, which commenced with former beneficiaries of the food bank, and which program is now being rolled out to all regions of the country. Besides that program, other ongoing programs that are aimed to address social problems facing our citizens that are being implemented by government include strengthening of social safety nets,
education and skills development, as I have indicated, healthcare and economic empowerment to encourage job creation, entrepreneurship, and access to capital, especially for the youth. And in the aftermath of the unfortunate death in Omaheke, a collaborating initiative was also launched, implemented by government and WHO and the government and WHO and the Ministry of Health and Social Services, the Ministry of Gender Equality, Poverty Eradication and Social Welfare, in order to increase access to quality nutrition and protection services for vulnerable populations in Omaheke, Komas, and Kunene regions, in order to promote health, development, and wellness, and contribute to the reduction of preventable deaths and inequities. These objectives will be achieved through inter alia increased access to nutrition in order to prevent and manage malnutrition amongst women and children in their immediate communities, improve the quality of care to effectively respond to the increasing number of malnutrition cases in the healthcare system, strengthening the protection of women and children against violence, exploitation, and abuse, and build capacity of mothers and caregivers on positive parenting. Then strengthening national, regional, and district coordination, supervision, monitoring, and reporting of the project intervention. The project was launched in October of last year and had the following targets. Close to 35,000 children under the age of 5 reached with nutrition intervention in the 3 target districts, over 9,000 pregnant women and lactating mothers benefiting from nutritional interventions in those districts. Yes, the Deputy Minister knows. Support to strengthen access to nutrition interventions and other integrated services to vulnerable women and children through implementation of maternal and child health days and outreach health services. 72 community health workers capacitated in increasing awareness on nutrition amongst community members, nutrition hotline in place and used to aid community health workers in answering complex questions. And the monitoring and evaluation of this intervention is ongoing, with periodic reports to be availed every quarter. I think the ministry will be able to update us on that as we go along. The conditional basic income grant was rolled out to 20 urban and peri-urban areas in November to December of 2024 to reach vulnerable households, resulting in an additional 15,000 households registered. A total of 21,697 households now receiving conditional basic income grants from the initial 8,328. It is important to know that the support to our vulnerable communities goes beyond mere food and financial assistance, extending to holding our communities together, fulfilling human rights, and creating a better future. Therefore, there are numerous interventions that government is implementing to ensure the well-being and security of individuals and households, especially those who are vulnerable and in need of support. Question 3. Will you agree with me that should government agree and introduce BIG, that it will guarantee households with financial security? I have already answered that question. Yes. Question number 4, what programs does your government have in place currently to address the issues across all regions? I have also responded to that one. Then can you provide us with figures of how many households? I have a table here and I'm going to distribute. In summary, a total of 1.4 million people are benefiting from drought relief. This is equivalent to 384,935 households across all the regions. And this is inclusive of the 76,184 additional households submitted by the regions during the National Drought Platform, when we added those additional households following the request from the regions. Finally, what is your government doing in order to address this issue once and for all. I think I have outlined all the programs,
yes,
including the social safety net programs and also the security, food security, and the job creation programs that government is supporting.
Good.
Thank you, Honorable
Thank you,
Speaker.
thank you. Honorable Prime Minister, I give you extra minutes.
Oh.
That is at the discretion of the Speaker.
Oh, I see.
Your time expired long time ago, but you managed to make use. You managed to make use of the time that I'm entitled to give you. Next question number 62, the Honorable Jennifer Van Heeven. You put the question. Thank you very much. The question is directed to the Honorable Minister of Mines and Energy, Honorable Tom Alwendo. We are sticking to 5 minutes.
Honorable Speaker, I'm happy that you have set the time at 5 minutes, but I think you did not mention the fact that the questioners should also not give us essays. It must be really short and precise.
I cannot even hear when you are making that level of noise. I'm trying to hear so that I can respond.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yeah, instead of the essays that we get as questions,
Yeah.
the questions must also be precise, so that we also then precisely answer it.
I think we need to improve.
Yes.
We don't need to refer to the preamble
Yes.
or to strictly to the question number one. Yeah.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Members. Let me thank the Honorable Member for the questions regarding the ECB and how they set the tariff. And before I respond, Honorable Speaker, I just want to say a few things. The first that, we as a government is committed to prioritize the welfare of all the citizens in every decision we make regarding the pricing of electricity. And also as per the Act, the ECB as a regulator is the one with the responsibility to set the tariffs, and they also do that on an annual basis. Now the adjustments are carefully considered in order to balance the need to, on the one hand, cover the real cost of generating the electricity, on transmitting it, and also on distributing it. And on the other hand, to ensure that we've got a continuous supply of electricity for all our well-being. Now, during last year's tariff adjustment exercise, you will recall that NAMPOWER proposed to the ECB a tariff of 14.5%, but after careful consideration, the ECB only approved 8%. But following the public outcry against the proposed adjustment, the Ministry, together with the ECB, we agreed to put off the implementation of the 2024 tariff increase and to look if the NEF fund can be the one to carry the cost for the increase. Now, this decision was not a political gimmick, as some suggested, but really a genuine concern about the affordability of electricity and the understanding that the cost of electricity has a pervasive impact on all our livelihood. Now, the first question for the member is to do with the consultation and stakeholder engagement when the ECB sets a tariff. Before setting the 8% increased tariff, the ECB held extensive public consultation. For example, the ECB facilitated a stakeholder consultation meeting on the 11th of March that was held at NIPAM, where NAMPOWER presented its bulk tariff application to all the stakeholders, not only to the ECB, but to the stakeholders. And various stakeholders, including agricultural unions, business federations, and government agencies, did participate and also did provide written feedback. In addition, the ECB also required all major electricity distributors to present how their tariff application will affect directly the end consumers. The second question is about the methodology that is used. The honourable member highlighted that the methodology and data used in determining the tariff adjustment could be outdated because it relates to the 2001 tariff study. However, Honourable Speaker, it must be noted that the outcome of the 2001 study was the determination of a cost-plus tariff methodology for Namibia. It was not how to come up with the tariff itself, but rather on what basis do we base the tariff. Regulated electricity utilities are therefore allowed to recover their approved operational and capital costs and also earn a regulated return on their investments. The ECB applies this methodology annually in setting and approving the tariffs. And every year, all major licensees, including that of NamPower, apply to the ECB for their tariff increase. And therefore, although the methodology was adopted way back in 2001, there has been several studies thereafter. The latest being the National Electricity Tariff Study that was carried out in 2019, and the ECB is currently reviewing the tariff methodology. Again, just to enhance the tariff review and setting process. But the basis will still be cost recovery method. The third question was regarding the measures being implemented to mitigate the adverse socio-economic impact. Now, Honourable Speaker, currently there is no subsidies, especially targeting certain classes of electricity consumers. However, most electricity distributors offer social tariff, like for pensioners, low tariff, consuming households, to provide relief to low-income households. And these tariffs are lower than the average tariff. In 2017, the Ministry also developed the National Electricity Support Tariff mechanism to make basic electricity consumption more affordable. The fourth question is to do with the transparency of the tariff setting. This is more or less what I've said, that there are always public consultation. ECB does not simply just look at themselves and then they set a tariff. The fifth question, and I will speak at something, this question a minute and 5 minutes, but fifth question is about the national long-term strategy on ensuring that we have affordable electricity supply. First, Honourable Speaker, our long-term strategy on electricity supply is guided by several key policy documents that we have got. Among those, it will be the 2017 National Energy Policy, the National Renewable Energy Policy, and also our long-term National Integrated Resource Plan. These are all the policies that guide how we go about providing the reliable electricity supply in the long run. Now, in this regard, several generation projects are underway or planned under the NRP, including solar, wind, and biomass projects with a total additional capacity of 250 megawatts. And these projects will support our goal of increasing local production of electricity. Lastly, Honourable Speaker, we are also alive to the fact that in the long run, it's really about public investment in generation of electricity that will make it more affordable. And that is why we have allocated $400 million to NamPower to build a biomass power plant, and we are also fast-tracking the development of the Baines hydrogen project that we are co-invested together with the government of Angola. Those are the answers, Honourable Speaker, Honourable members, and I thank you. 5 minutes because the questions were long.
Thank you very much. Actually, compliment to you, Honourable Minister, you did manage. By the time you were answering question number 2, the time was really running fast, but you managed to catch up. One more time, question number 63 from the Honourable Baines. Do you put the question? The question is directed to the Deputy Prime Minister, Minister of Works and Transport, the Honourable John Mutorwa.
A very important question. Ask specific statistical data But who is the person who put the question?
The member is not in the House right now, but the colleague did authorize me.
Is still a
to put
member
the
of the parliament?
A member of parliament.
Eh?
But a member of parliament, but out.
Is the lady?
The honorable member normally sits next to the. You know that.
Now, on a serious note.
I'm worried about your time.
Now, on a serious note, this is a question that's asking empirical data, number of vehicles in the whole government setup. It's not a joke. Therefore, it requires that we do that homework in getting the statistics that are required here. And as such, I'll respectfully move that this question stands over until such a time that we have obtained all the data needed. I so move, comments.
Thank you very much. Well and good. The honorable member obviously want to do in-depth analysis, and therefore we should offer that opportunity. Next question, number 65, from the Honorable Shiramba. Do you put the question? Thank you very much. The question is directed to the Deputy Minister of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members. The Ministry of Agriculture has got 3 questions in this question paper. That is question 65, 80, and 82. Question 80 is about the red line, which, as we all know, is currently in court. And I beg that we allow the court process to take its course until that is concluded. About the other 2 questions, my minister has requested me to ask the indulgence of this Honorable House for these questions to be postponed to next week for a concise response. I so move, Honorable
Thank you.
Speaker.
Thank you very much. That actually is a gift to the Speaker to remind honorable members that when it comes to health break, we should take it seriously to make sure that we go for a health break and have a nice cup of tea or coffee and then come back within the time frame according to our rules. So we are breaking for a health break and come back at the usual time. Thank you.
Can I get yeah, which question was it?
Continue with this one.
67. The House is called to order. We proceed with the questions. Question number, yeah, we have a working quorum. I was told 26. Yeah, working quorum. 26. Yeah. Yeah, the question number 67, it was put by Honorable Motu of LPN to the Minister in Presidency. Both of the two are not here. Stand over. The Minister of Presidency is not here. It's stand over. We proceed to question number 71, put by Honorable Kondi, LPM, to the Minister of Mines and Energy. Are you Honorable Kondi? Honorable Kondi, stand up. You put the question. Yeah, stand up and say, I'll put the question. Okay. Yeah, the Deputy Minister of Mines and Energy. You would like to respond? Can you stand up, please? Okay, we can come back to it. Yes. Question number 72 is put by Honorable Ndinda to the Minister of Finance and Public Enterprises. Who? The Minister of... oh, people are taking long in taking... Yeah, the next one is 73 by Honorable Hamata to the Minister of Environment, Forestry and Tourism. Official, can you alert the different ministers who are outside? Go in the restaurant that we have started. Yeah, both are 74. They are also not here. Oh my goodness, what are they doing? Is there a special meeting for them? Huh? Because even question number by Honorable Hamata, both the minister and deputy minister are not here. The deputy minister, Honorable Deputy Minister, this is your question. Honorable Deputy Minister of Urban and Rural Development, can you kindly come to your seat and answer the question there? Is he coming? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's question number 74. No. Wait. Question number 74. It's a question put by Honorable Hamata to your ministry. Are you? Yeah. Yes?
Yes, Comrade Deputy Speaker, I see my minister is around. Now that Honorable Alwendo is coming in, they were consulting outside together. So when he comes in, yes, then he is ready to respond. Thank you.
Honorable Minister, I thought we have a special meeting there because there's a lot of energy. Yeah, okay, can we come now back to to question number 71? It's put by Honorable Kodi, LPM, to the Minister of Mines and Energy. You'd like to put a question again? Honorable Minister? That is question number 71.
Honorable
Yes.
Deputy Speaker, can I ask the House indulgence to respond next week?
Okay.
Thank you.
Next week. Then we go to which one? Yeah, we go to 73. The question put by Honorable Hamata to the Minister of Environment and Forestry and Tourism. Would you like to put the question? Yeah, Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, Deputy Speaker. I'm always ready. Deputy Speaker, I want to thank the Honorable Member who posed the question. And I want to say that this, and I think the questions are there. I will just go straight to the answering
please.
part. Honorable Deputy Speaker, the tree in question was inside the townland of Helauna Fidi, and it was cut down by employees of the town council, following a joint operation led by the Namibian police, which identified the particular tree as being used by criminal elements to conduct illegal activities such as selling illegal fuel, contrabands, and others. While the ministry regrets the cutting down of a big tree, which takes many years to reach that size, we encourage that more trees be planted to replace the felled one in order to ensure environmental sustainability. With that being, Honorable Deputy Speaker, now let me go to particular questions. Question number 1, I think you can now go through that question. The answer is no, the ministry has not issued any environmental clean certificate in that regard. The ministry is not required by law to give ECC or environmental clean certificate for cutting down of a single unprotected tree. This is not a listed activity as per Environmental Management Act. Cutting down of a protected tree species requires permit from the Directorate of Forests in the ministry. Question number 2, the answer is cutting down of trees needs a permit in line with the Forest Act. Stakeholders are therefore requested to apply for permits before any tree is cut down. Similarly, cutting down of trees in large numbers and more especially for commercial purposes is listed. This is a listed activity which requires and attracts environmental clean certificates. You have to apply for that. Question number 3. The answer is the ministry discourages cutting down trees for the sake of it. Trees play an important role in the environment, our environment, and it should be protected at all costs. Our ministry was not approached to have any trees removed at Oshikango. While we support law enforcement, we urge all stakeholders to ensure the environment is safeguarded at all costs. Question number 4. The answer is The ministry implores law enforcement agencies to seek for alternative ways to manage crime other than resorting to environmental damage. Harming natural resources to manage illegal activities should be the last resort. At this stage, the ministry has investigated this matter, and we found that the tree was cut by the Launa PD in consultation with the joint operation, including the police. So it was simply an oversight on the part of the town council to do that. Our message to all stakeholders is to protect our trees, and where trees have been cut down for one or other reasons, plant more trees in their state. Question number 5 and the last question. And the answer is the ministry has embarked upon awareness raising at all levels to sensitize the citizens on the importance of trees and our environmental protection in general. I implore upon all stakeholders to always check with the Ministry of Environment, Tourism, especially the Directorate of Forestry, before any action is taken that could result in environmental damage. There are some trees that are highly protected, and they can attract fine if you have been found that you have cut that tree without any permission. Taking care of our environment is each one of us responsibility, and we all are expected to do so at all times. Thank you very much. Within 5 minutes.
Any follow-up? None. Okay, thank you. We'll revert back to question 72, and it's a question put by Honorable Dinda to the Minister of Finance and the Public Enterprise. Would you like to put a question?
Something.
Yes.
This question was already answered by the Minister.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. We will go to question number 74, again by Honorable Hamata of PDM to the Minister of Urban and Rural Development. Would you like to put a question? Honorable Minister.
Yes, Honorable Hamata. Thank you very much. Yeah. What else do you want? We are already here. Okay. Deputy Speaker, I just moved to respond this one next Thursday. Thank you.
Next time.
Next Thursday.
Okay. Yeah. Refer to next Thursday. Next Thursday, I think.
Next Thursday.
Yeah, 75. We, Honorable Mekendo Benani and the Minister in Presidence are not here, so it's turned over. Question number 76 is a question put by Honorable Dirhart to the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Work and Transport. He was here. Okay. We go to Right Honorable Deputy Prime Minister, we are just waiting for you to answer question number 76. It was put by Honorable Dirhart. You like to put a question? Yes? Honorable Deputy Prime Minister.
Honorable Deputy Speaker, I know that my colleague did ask this question last year, but I must admit that I have not had the opportunity to pay attention, and I don't want to provide half-baked responses. May I respectfully request you that we postpone this answering of this question to maybe next week? I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, the question is deferred to next Thursday. Where are we now? 76, 78. Okay, 78. Yeah, we go to question 78. It is the question by Honorable Sheku Pakela of RDP to the Minister of Mines and Energy. Would you like to answer the question, please?
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Speaker. I like this question because it's very short and precise, and that's what I was saying. So I would like to answer this question in the following manner, Honorable Deputy Speaker. To say that, yes, we do recall in 2021 when there was an announcement by the company for Recon Africa that they had started drilling oil in their license in the Kavangois. And after having drilled about 3 wells, they made an announcement to say that they found a working petroleum system. But there seems to be a confusion to say that they have found oil. They have not found oil. They simply found that there was an indication of the presence of the oil in their license. And therefore, there was never a production of oil. And Recon Africa is still continuing to see whether they can still find oil. So they are still drilling. And therefore, question 1, there was no oil found. Question 2, when you say the land that has government, you say appropriate. I don't know whether you probably meant expropriated. But if the idea was that the government somehow took the land and they gave to Recon Africa, the government never did expropriate any land from anyone. The company simply negotiated with the traditional authorities to be able to do the work on the land which they needed. And we also know that the community were compensated. As to how much they were compensated, that is really negotiating between the company and the communities. So the ministry was involved in the negotiation. The last question, the current position in terms of production, again, as I said, there's no production, and therefore we can't talk about production. We hope somehow that they will find oil because, as I say, they are still continuing with the exploration of the oil. Thank you, Deputy Speaker.
Thank you. The next question, 79, Honorable Ekanjo, and as well as the Minister and President are not here. The question sent over to oh, sorry. Honorable Ekanjo, you put the question, but she's not here, so it's sent over. The minister is not here, so it's sent over to next Thursday. Question number 8 is a question by Honorable Chiramba. Is Honorable Chiramba here? To the Minister of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform. Who would like to put the question on behalf of Chiramba of LPM?
Said it will be answered next week.
Sorry?
The Deputy Minister said it will be answered next week.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, just now.
Yes. It will be. If you want to talk, can you stand up and address formally the presiding officer? Yeah, question number 81. It's again by Honorable Chiramba.
Yeah? Oh, is there.
Sorry?
Yes, I posed the question. Thank you.
Yeah, Honorable Minister of Finance, Deputy Minister of Finance and Public Enterprise.
I was trying to tell my sister she doesn't have to pose the question. The minister has requested for the indulgence of the House. It's a third-party question, so he still has to get the feedback. So we'll be ready next week.
Okay. Okay. It's deferred to next week, Thursday. We proceed to the last question, 82, by Honorable Chiramba, LPM, to the Minister of Agriculture, Water,
The minister is not here.
and Land Reform. Would you like to put a question?
Yes, but the minister is not here.
The Deputy Minister is here.
The deputy minister is here. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Yes.
Honorable Deputy Minister of Honorable Shweda, I would like, are you able to, you did, didn't it? So it was responded to. Eh? Yes.
Oh, she postponed it. The minister requested that I request this house to postpone this question to next week, Tuesday.
Next week, Tuesday.
Oh, next week, Thursday.
Okay.
Yes.
So the question is deferred to. So we come to the conclusion of all the questions, and we refer back to the order. Speaker. The Secretary will read the first order of the day. The Secretary.
Resumption of debate on second reading, public gatherings and public processions bill.
Come again? Oh, okay. Yeah. When this assembly adjourned on Wednesday, the 5th of February, 2025, the question before the assembly was a motion by the Minister of Home Affairs, Immigration, Safety and Security, that the bill be read a second time. The Minister of Home Affairs, Immigration, Safety and Security adjourned the debate, and you now have the floor, Dr. Kawan. Honorable Dr. Kawan.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Speaker. Honorable Deputy Speaker, I rise to respond to some of the remarks made by my colleagues, honorable members, regarding the debate on the public gatherings and public procession bill. Allow me, Honorable Deputy Speaker, to express my appreciation and gratitude to all honorable members who took part in the debate during the second reading of the aforementioned bill. I also thank honorable members who supported the passing of the bill in silence. It is not surprising, given the nature of the bill, that it generated considerable interest not only in this august House, but also in both print and social media among our citizens, as well as those who regard themselves as scholars or political analysts. Just like in this august House, some views were objective, although some of them were based on lack of understanding and the wrong interpretation. Some views were based on subjective considerations with political bias. Again, this is not surprising because Namibia is an open society whose governance is based on the rule of law and democracy. My task today, however, is to respond
to the contributions of some of the honorable members of this august House, as per the requirements of the current rules and procedures of the House. As will be more apparent during my response, I have taken note of the views of the honorable members, including those views which I do not agree with, or which are based on the wrong interpretation of the bill on account perhaps of lack of background information. Some views are based on ideological political background, which I fully respect, especially given the fact that last year was the year of national elections. Honorable Deputy Speaker, the bill attracted a significant number of contributions. Among them are Honorable my dear sister Dienda, Honorable Smith, Honorable Nioma, Honorable Johnny Mutorwa, my neighbor here, Honorable Venani. By the way, since we opened the parliament, I'm missing the leader of official opposition. I don't know where he is. Honorable Katamero, Honorable Kapofi, and the Honorable Shiletivai. The number of honorable members from the opposition, especially PDM, were critical with certain provisions of the bill. Within the letter and spirit of our democratic culture, I have taken note of objective views expressed during the debate and have adjusted some provisions of the bill accordingly. Where the views are premised on wrong information or lack of information, I will provide and point out the correct position under the existing legislation. Honorable Deputy Speaker, a number of issues were pointed out which some honorable members have some difficulties to support. Allow me therefore, Honorable Deputy Speaker, to point out issues of major concern and how they are dealt with in my reply. May I point out in my reply that I have avoided to be personal. I'm aware that the views expressed by honorable members were expressed on behalf of their political parties as well as in the spirit of open debate. The fundamental difficulties expressed by some honorable members is that some provisions of the bill put unreasonable restrictions on citizens who want to demonstrate, thereby negating the principles of democracy, such as freedom of expression. These restrictions they contain violate fundamental human rights and freedoms which are guaranteed in the Namibian Constitution. They further say that the police are given too much power to the point that they can impose unreasonable conditions before a demonstration or procession is allowed. The notice period required before a demonstration or procession is allowed is too long and therefore, in some instances, defeats the purpose of the demonstration or procession. Restricted areas have an effect of denying citizens the right to express their views at or near institutions where they can freely express their views in order to have an impact they contain. The penalties which are imposed are too high, provided civil liabilities of organizers and those who take part in public demonstrations and public processions is unnecessary. It's unnecessary because the civil liabilities have an effect of restricting the right to demonstrate. Certain expressions in the bill are not defined, they contain, such as reference to a weapon, which renders the bill ambiguous and vague. The requirement for consultation between the organizers of the demonstration and the police has an effect of restricting the right to demonstrate. Use of force by police officers has an effect of abuse and could lead to the subjugation of peaceful assemblies. Honorable Deputy Speaker, before I respond to the specific issues which were raised by honorable members, or some of them, during the debate, allow me to explain the status of our laws in the context of the bill. The Namibian laws consist of three hierarchies, namely the Namibian Constitution, which we refer to as the supreme law of our land, followed by Acts of Parliament as the second tier. And at the bottom tier is the common law and customary law. Any common law or customary law which is in conflict with an Act of Parliament or the Namibian Constitution, an Act of Parliament or the Namibian Constitution prevails. Any Act of Parliament which is in conflict with the Namibian Constitution, the Namibian Constitution prevails. Therefore, unlike in some countries, such as the United Kingdom, where Parliament is supreme and can pass any law without fear of violating the Constitution, in Namibia, the Namibian Constitution is supreme. I also wish to inform honorable members of this august House that the Namibian Constitution provides what we call Bill of Rights as contained under Chapter 3, titled Fundamental Human Rights and Freedoms. Some provisions which are relevant under the Bill of Rights or Fundamental Human Rights and Freedoms include Article 5, Protection of Fundamental Rights and Freedoms, which must be respected and upheld by the executive, legislature, and the judiciary. These rights are enforceable by the courts. Article 6, Protection of Life, which are to be respected and protected. No law may prescribe death as a competent sentence. No court or tribunal has the power to impose a sentence of death upon any person. No executions shall take place in Namibia. And this is really directed to Honorable Smith, regrettably is not here, who compared this bill to the colonial past, which is really uncomparable at all. Because as I'm saying, and I'm trying to point out to here, honorable members, there were no Bill of Rights during the colonial apartheid regime. Today, we are bound by the Bill of Rights, which are protected, and I'm going to explain. Even in terms of amendment or repeal of some of the provisions, with a view to diminish the rights of the citizens, will not pass the muster of our courts in terms of the Constitution. I'm going to explain in that regard. Article 7, Protection of Liberty. No person shall be deprived of personal liberty except in accordance with procedures established by law. Article 8, sub 2b, Respect for human dignity. No persons shall be subject to torture or to cruel or inhuman or degrading treatment or punishment. Article 11, sub 1, Arrest and detention. No persons shall be subject to arbitrary arrest or detention. Article 12, sub 1a and sub b, Fair trial. In the determination of their criminal charges, all persons are entitled to a fair and public hearing by an independent, impartial, and competent court or tribunal established by law. In addition, such persons shall be presumed innocent until proven guilty according to law. Lastly, Article 21, Sub 1, Sub D, with a heading Fundamental Freedoms, inter alia, provides that all persons shall have the right to assemble peacefully and without arms. Due to the importance of the Bill of Rights, as contained under Chapter 3 of the Namibian Constitution, they are entrenched under Chapter 19, Article 131, which states as follows, and I quote, "No repeal or amendment of any of the provisions of Chapter 3 hereof, insofar as such repeal or amendment diminishes or detracts from the fundamental rights and freedoms contained and defined in that chapter, shall be permissible under this Constitution, and no such purported repeal or amendment shall be valid or have any force or effect." It is against the aforementioned background that the comparison of the bill and the situation prevailing or which prevailed during the pre-colonial apartheid regime is very far from reality, and such fears are unfounded. Indeed, consistent with our democratic culture, Namibia has put in place systems, processes, and institutions to curtail any potential abuse of state power. It is also my submission that just like during the apartheid colonialism, there are no Bill of Rights in repressive regimes, so they do whatever they want, unlike in our situation. Indeed, as I will discuss below, the bill before this August House is intended to align with the Namibian Constitution by repealing the existing Public Gatherings Proclamation of 1989, which is referred to as AG Proclamation number 23 of 1989, because some of its provisions are not in line with the Namibian Constitution. Honorable Deputy Speaker, Section 4 Sub 1 and Sub 2M of the 1989 Proclamation states as follows, and I quote, Sub 1, "Subject to the provisions of subsection 3, no person shall at any public gathering have any weapon with him." Now, a contradiction in that proclamation again comes. Section 4 Sub 2 Sub M reads as follows, within the current law, that is the proclamation, and I quote, "For the purpose of subsection 1, weapon shall include any firearm, but excluding a pistol or revolver carried in a bag, holster, or other container in such a manner that it is completely concealed." Now, meaning, in terms of this proclamation, you can still attend a public demonstration or public procession armed with a pistol or a revolver, which is contrary to the Namibian Constitution. And therefore, this bill that is before this August House is intended to address those issues which are patently unconstitutional. The provisions of Section 4 Sub 2M of the proclamation, which are patently unconstitutional, have been replaced with Clause 11 of the bill, aimed at aligning it with Article 21 Sub 1D of the Namibian Constitution. In order to ensure that the demonstration is peaceful, no person who takes part in a public demonstration or public procession shall be allowed to carry a weapon. This is in line with Article 21, Sub 1D of the Namibian Constitution. Honorable Deputy Speaker, some honorable members of this august House expressed a concern regarding what they considered to be a long period of notice required before a public demonstration or a public procession can take place. Borrowing from the mantra of our late President, His Excellency Dr. Hage G. Geingob, may his soul rest in eternal peace, I can only say I heard you, and in the interest of progress, the proposed notice period shall be reduced from 5 days to 2 days, as opposed to the 3 days which is in the current proclamation. Because in the bill, we proposed 5 days. Now we are reducing that as a result of the concern expressed by our honorable members, some of them, to only 3 days. Under certain circumstances, such as urgency, the police may accept a shorter period provided it's not less than 24 hours. Meaning, if the demonstration is urgent, the police can still accept the notice, which is at least not less than 24 hours, to allow for a demonstration or a public procession. Honorable Deputy Speaker, allow me to make one thing clear. Save under exceptional circumstances, such as a state of emergency, where there is credible information that may lead to bloodshed in the interest of health, such as outbreak of dangerous communicable disease, such as COVID-19 that we experienced in the past. The Inspector General of Police or any other police officer has no power to prevent a public demonstration or a public procession in terms of our law. Therefore, the concerns of some members to this effect is based on misunderstanding of our current law. The power of the Inspector General is merely to put conditions before such a public demonstration or a public procession can take place. For example, the route of the public demonstration or public procession in the interest of controlling traffic, or the venue in the interest of maintaining law and order, where there are rival groups which are opposed to each other. As to questions whether or not the conditions are reasonable, these are questions of law which can be challenged in a court of law. The situation on the ground will normally inform the police as to what conditions are appropriate and reasonable. Therefore, the police will be required to use their discretion in a reasonable manner. In addition, Clause 4 Sub 2 of the bill grants power to the minister to exempt subject to conditions certain public gatherings or public processions from conditions. Honorable Deputy Speaker, some honorable members felt that the penalties provided for in case of breach of the provisions of this part of our law are too high. Clause 3 Sub 8 provides a fine of 5,000 Namibia dollars or imprisonment for a period not exceeding 1 year. As a compromise, the fine part can be reduced to 2,000 Namibia dollars from the current 4,000, because the proclamation says 4,000. In the current bill, we said 5,000. But because of the expressed views of some of our honorable members, and we say we hear you, okay, let's reduce that to 2,000, which is even less than half, or it's a half of the current law which says 4,000. I wanted really to clarify that. Honorable members are hereby informed that when it comes to imprisonment, Section 2 sub B of the 1989 proclamation provides for imprisonment for a period not exceeding 2 years. This has been cut in this bill by half to 1 year maximum imprisonment of the bill. Therefore, I did not propose any change to the part which refers to imprisonment, because we have already cut it. We felt that the current law, the current proclamation, which provides for 2 years, is too harsh. Therefore, we cut it to 1 year in the bill. Some honorable members have some difficulties in holding consultative meetings with the police where this is deemed desirable. I'm very surprised by this because in certain situations, including in this August House, certain situations require consultation in order to resolve critical issues of national importance. Honorable Deputy Speaker, I can state here with the utmost confidence that consultations in a situation where citizens want to stage a public demonstration or a public procession is vital for the sake of finding a solution. Now, I don't understand why some members say they have difficulties in consultation. In fact, the consultation is vital in order to find each other. This is necessary for the police and the demonstrators and the organizers of the demonstrations or public to meet and iron out some of those issues. And therefore, to me, it's very, very important. According to my experience, this has worked very well in the past and in our democratic culture. Reaching out to one another is extremely important. I therefore implore honorable members who have difficulties with this approach to reconsider their position. Under Clause 5 sub 12 of the bill, as a compromise, I propose to reduce the penalty provided therein from $5,000 to $2,000. I hope that this will satisfy the honorable members as we aim to balance the right of our citizens to stage a public demonstration or public procession with a need to maintain law and order in our republic. I confirm that this is a difficult balance, but as they say, where there is a will, there is a way. I believe that this compromise will provide a way. Honorable Deputy Speaker, I have also considered the views expressed by some honorable members regarding the penalties provided for under Clause 6 sub 8 of the bill. As a compromise, I'm prepared to reduce the fine from 5,000 to 2,000 and leave the term of imprisonment for a period not exceeding 1 year. Because the current law, as I said, the term of imprisonment is 2 years, so we are reducing that to 1 year. I further propose that Clause 6 sub 4A of the bill be deleted in order to remove the power of the police from prohibiting public demonstration or public procession. And this one, really, maybe the honorable members who expressed some concern. I hear you, it was an objective concern, and therefore the power of the police to prohibit any demonstration or any public procession has been deleted in this bill in order to give more effect to our people to enjoy the democracy that came about as a result of our heroes whose blood watered our freedom, as we say. The situation on the ground will determine, having regard to the general powers of the police under the Police Act of 1990, whether or not such a public demonstration or public procession should continue or not. Now, meaning, if a situation as per the information available determines that the procession cannot proceed, not that it cannot take place, because the people are already there. Therefore, that power discretion is given to the police under the Police Act of 1990. It is further proposed that the fine provided under Clause 6 sub 8 of the bill be reduced from 5,000 to 2,000 and leave the term of imprisonment for a period not exceeding 1 year. As I say, in the current law, the term of imprisonment is 2 years. Honorable Deputy Speaker, another topical area during the debate was the issue of restricted areas as contained in Clause 12 of the bill. Currently, Section 2 sub 1 of the Demonstration in or near court buildings Prohibition Act of 1982, Act number 71 of 1982, prohibits any demonstration within a radius of less than 500 meters from a court building, excluding Saturdays, Sundays, and public holidays. So this is a current law insofar as the courts are concerned. Nobody is allowed to demonstrate within that radius of 500 or less meters.
Honorable Minister.
That is the current law.
I'll give you 5 minutes to round up.
Well, you see, Honorable Deputy Speaker,
you still have more.
I read the list of the colleagues who contributed. So in terms of the rules, I'm bound to respond to those issues.
And in terms of
that's
the
what
rules,
I'm saying.
that's
That's what
okay.
I'm doing.
I will give you. I will show you.
For the
mercy.
record, because that record of the debate during the second reading must correspond to my response.
Yeah, it's okay.
But I'm about to conclude.
No. I'll give you 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Just to conclude.
10 minutes is too much.
That is true.
Yeah, 10 minutes. That's the thing.
I take note of the views of the honorable members who have difficulties with the issue of restricted areas. Restricted areas under the bill are covered under Clause 1A and B, as well as Clause 12 of the bill. There are good reasons why these provisions are included. I'm sure all of us have witnessed ugly incidences elsewhere, where national buildings are set on fire. I take note of the argument that in order to have an impact, sometimes it's necessary to demonstrate near the building, and therefore this is necessary. However, in most cases, the object of the public demonstration or public procession is to hand over a petition which contains issues which require a response from relevant authorities, not so much about the proximity of a building. I therefore propose that, due to the strong views expressed by some honorable members, the clause should be deleted and the subject matter will be governed by various laws pertaining to such institutions such as the courts, military buildings, and other associated security institutions, airports, embassies, and high commissions, as well as international organizations. Because in those laws, there are also restrictions regarding their security. And therefore, this provision in the bill, I propose that we delete it. Therefore, the police and those who take part in the public demonstration or public procession should be made aware of such restriction, and the police will apply the law accordingly. Honorable Deputy Speaker, another area which attracted debate among some honorable members This is the issue of liability for riot damage as contained under clause 15 of the bill. And I recall here the remark made by Honorable Dienda to say, I'm an organizer and I must be held liable when I'm in London. Sometimes in law, Honorable Dienda, does not work like that. Because we have experience even now, even during the elections last year, some people instigating violence in Namibia, riot in Namibia, when they are in the comfort of their London flat. So it can happen like that. So in that instance, you cannot say, I was not here, I was in London. No, we will produce that social media clip in order to pin you down.
That's fair.
Now, as I said, for the sake of progress, this clause will be refreshed to refer to the Criminal Procedure Act of 1977. The Act grants a discretion during the criminal trial to the presiding officer to award the compensation to the victim. This will be an added route to be exercised by the victim in addition to the choice of taking civil action, although this option has considerable financial implications to the victim. Therefore, adjustment will be effected accordingly. My dear Honorable Dienda, and I know I saw you raise an issue of the lack of definition of weapon. Indeed, that is defined under clause 1 of the bill, if you can go there. Honorable Deputy Speaker, allow me once again to take this opportunity to thank all the honorable members who took part in the debate on this bill. I believe that with the amendments to be introduced, we will now move forward as a nation to further nurture our cherished democracy, and I thank you for your attention.
Well done. Thank you. Well explained. Very well explained.
I should think there is a need really once more to review the time allocated. Yes, I agree with him in terms of when a person replies. You cannot. Those are the issues we're supposed to look into. For those who didn't read, it's Rule 85. Honorable Taere now says 85. Did you read it? Yeah. Well, we needed to review it to say if a minister is responding, he's guided by the number of questions asked. Maybe I'm limited in the future or now. I don't know. Yeah. I now put, we still need 49. No, just come. Do we need 49 here again?
Yes, we need, because it's an agreement. It's about what they make. It's like an agreement, because they are voting. So we need 49 for that. So it can just be deferred.
Yeah, because we need 49 to go to the next step. Probably tomorrow, pardon me, Tuesday, we will have a number of 49 so that we can agree, so that the whole procedure step can be concluded. Yeah, so the debate is deferred to next Tuesday to wait for the voting quorum. Thank you. The Secretary will read the second order of the day. Huh? Yeah. Give me that blue paper.
We don't have a quorum.
Once more, the second order we cannot proceed with it because we don't have a committee stage needs 49. So the second item is deferred to next Tuesday. We still have more time to notice of motion. And it's a notice of motion by Honorable Hengari. She's not here.
Speaker, can I adjourn this debate until next week, Wednesday?
Until next Tuesday?
Wednesday.
Next Wednesday?
Yes.
So the item is adjourned to next Wednesday.
You are going home. Say thank you.
That's that for today. We come to the conclusion of today's item. Yeah. I humbly ask Right Honorable Prime Minister to adjourn the House till next Tuesday.
I move that the House adjourns until next week Tuesday, at the usual hour.
The House is adjourned till next week, Tuesday 14:30. Thank you. Tuesday.